Hello, hello. Bill Woods, Janet, Jeffrey. Good to see everyone here. Hope everyone's having a good start to the new year. We got 6 people on, but only 3 on chat. So I'm going to go ahead and say the pledge, and I'm going to go ahead and play the music, and we're going to get this show going. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave their right to me. And I'd rather stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this land. God bless the USA. And defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
God bless the USA. Proud to be an American. I definitely am, and I hope everyone else is. I hope everyone is enjoying the beginning of the new year. As we said here as a group, as a family, we know we have not Bill Wood says largest increase in Social Security recipients, Medicare, $18 a person times 70 million. You know, I don't know what to say. I want to believe. I went to our Telegram site tonight, and it's nothing but negative. It's quiet everywhere. But the people who's making money, like your Charlie Wards, your Wolverine, Mark Z, they all got great information, but they never can tell it. You know, if Wolverine, if the gamblers from Vegas knew him, or they could make a fortune on over and under with this man for his NDAs. And I'm not coming here to be negative tonight. It's just that I've been very positive all day. And when I went into our Telegram site and everybody's in there just being as negative can be, to be honest with you, I'm thinking about shutting the Telegram site down. I go in there to get information. There's no information, but boy, there is bitching up one end and down the other. And I allow it because I give people the right to say what they want to say. But doesn't it seem funny that we've come this long, we've waited this long, and now on the second day of the year, we all want to just be, oh, it's not going to happen. And what Bill just put up there, I'm assuming what he means is everybody's Social Security insurance went up $18. Well, if they keep doing it that way, they might as well not even send me a check here much longer because I'm going to owe them. But see, we have a man that we elected to get in that we believe in, guys. We have a man that we believe in that promises we ain't going to have to do this stuff like this. We have a man that said on the first day, in several videos, on the first day, and in several interviews, that the special beds were going to be released. Now I watch a video today with whatever she's calling herself now, Carrie or Sky, or, I have no idea. She changes her name like I change my underwear. But she's saying now that she was in a special meeting. She was in a special meeting, and she's seen the official signed document that the special beds will be released on April 9th. April 2nd. I'm sorry. April 2nd. April 9th was at one point a terrible day for me. It was my wedding anniversary. But April 2nd, and she is happy about this. What happened on January 1st? And if you're not going to do it on January 1st, why not come out and tell us why? And then she goes on, but for the people getting this news, there's going to be some of you that are not going to be happy, and you're not going to get on the beds because you have to be in a right frame of mind. Well, this show is not meant for children. They can watch it under the discretion of their parents, grandparents, and legal guardians. And the music that we just played is for entertainment purposes only. And the reason I said that is because this woman has the audacity to sit up there and tell us she knows everything. She got to sit in on a special meeting. Why in God's name would this lady who had nothing, she's bought herself a new place because of what she charges her people. There's so many people out there that could give a rat's butt if this ever ends. They're making money over money and laughing at all of us. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you, David and John, Ian and Stephanie. Oh, hi, Stephanie. Diane, Howard, everyone who's on here, I'm going to ask you, do not give in to temptation to give any money for any information. If someone comes to you for money for information, tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine. I am sick and tired of these fat ass people taking advantage of people. Yes, I'm negative about this. I'm negative about this because this is something near and dear to my heart. We were told by the President of the United States of America, anybody doing this would be dealt with. Well, why the hell aren't you dealing with them now? Why do you let them keep going and going and going? They're not the Energized Bunnies. Happy New Year's, Def Jones. Now, I just ranted and raved. And the reason I did it is for the people out here, not particular here, but other people who's not here, that they don't have the kahunas to come in here. They want to hide behind their little typewriter and say whatever they want to do and cut all the vibrations down instead of coming on and saying good things. Because they know if they come on here and they're negative on here, Janet will take them out. Boom. Shakalaka. But I wanted to let you guys hear what I'm reading all over the internet. We're in a second day. And yes, I am upset what I listened to Sky Prince say. But is there any one of us here right now that if we had 100% proof that on a second the beds would be introduced? But what are they going to do now? Because they're saying, I read now, guys, I read and I listened. Nothing's going to happen as far as the 800 numbers until Monday or Tuesday of next week. But then we're going to get them and we're going to go. But see, once again, I hear this from someone who's supposed to be the expert in special beds. But now all of a sudden she's the expert in the 800 number. Why have any of us done anything? We just need her. Mark Z, Charlie Ward. We just need them guys. They know it all. But if we'd have let them just do it all and we wouldn't have been given money, which I didn't. Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying, Bill. Bill says that Medicare went up from 185 to 203. So they give us a little pinsy raise, maybe $25 or $30. This is 2 years in a row. In the last 2 years, if it went up like that, what you're saying, Bill, my raise in the last 2 years that I've got amounts to about $25. Now, that's a cost of living raise. But see, I'm choosing to believe that we're close. But why is everything going up? We all just stood and watched the other day. We stood, sat, whatever, and watched the hat. Why is senior citizens even paying for insurance? When is he actually going to stand up and do something for the people like he promises? And this is not in a negative way. This is asking a question. But now, what the people are negative about, the 800 numbers, I believe we're going to get them. I don't listen to Sky Prince because I believe Sky Prince is a lot like the lady on the big call. She's trying to sell people information, and she was getting dry selling the special beds information. So now all of a sudden she's an expert in everything else. You know what they're experts in, guys? You know what these people are experts in? Bullshit. They're expert in bullshit and taking people's money and laughing all the way to the bank. They could care less if someone's out there and they give them money each month. Charlie Ward, Mr. Charlie Ward. You gotta love him. He's the one man that for years and years and years protected the money, protected the gold that the bad people were stealing from us, only to become very important in this movement. Does a leopard change his spots? Because to me, when I found out how he made his money, I quit following the man. I don't even know if he actually has an accent like he does, or if he just decides to talk like however he talks. Yes, Ralph's on a roll because, see, Ralph is trying to open eyes to this is going to happen, but there's certain people don't listen to. They're poison. And I mention names, and you know what? If these people are going to come back at me and say, you don't know what you're talking about, I might not know what I talk about. But you know, the one thing I do know when I talk is I've never taken a dime from anybody. Someone tried to give me money once and I sent it back. They've given me a few gifts, presents. I didn't really want them, but I accepted them. I don't want the people's money. I wish there's a saying, if you could turn back the hands of kind, right? Ian, Stephanie, Papa G, you guys have all heard that saying. If I could turn back the hands of time, if I could, when certain places come to me and say, hey, how would you like to have 100,000 followers? How would you like to have 150,000 followers or 200? These are people that we kind of take care of. And when they watch your videos, not while the show's going on, but afterwards when they go in to watch it, because they won't watch it live. But these 100 to 150 or 200,000 people, we sell advertisement. And they have to go in and they have to watch it and they have to watch these commercials all the way through. And if you do that, you can make $4,000 or $5,000 a month. I said, I don't want the money. I wish I would have taken it because I never in a million years thought this was going to drag on this long. And the people who need the money, I could be helping them. There's a couple places out there that they literally ask their people for donations. After they take money for their monthly fee, they still ask the people for donations. And what good would it do me on Telegram to ask people? I have 58 followers. For some reason, it never went off. I don't care. The numbers never have mattered to me. And when someone says, well, that's because you've never had them. I once had a group here that had over 35,000 people. But what I'm trying to express, guys, is it's a new year. 2025 did not go like we wanted it to. But look at on the bright side. It went a lot better for us than it did Charlie Kirk. That's a sick joke. And I wouldn't have told it if I didn't 100% believe he's still with us. But the bets, when I heard today, after I heard our president say time and time and time and time again, they would be introduced on the 1st. Where's he at? Oh, that's right. He's letting his wife walk around a party in a silver dress and they're playing Hi-Yo Silver Away. What hurts me more is if she's getting involved with it because I always cared for her. Him, it is what it is. I'm a firm believer sometimes. I don't know if you can take the rich people now, and they can say, well, I'm going to protect everybody. Because what is he doing to protect you, Steph? What is he doing to protect you, Bill? You just said it. He raised our insurance $18 a month. How much does he get? But he's the only president that's ever lost money. Yeah, that we see there. But how many under the table accounts does he have that he's made billions? He promised that he would end that war in Russia and the Ukraine within 30 days when he took office. How many days are we away that he will be 1 year and it's still going? Now, people are saying it's going to be over by the 15th. But, I write a girl 5 days a week. Not here lately. There have been so many holidays for us, so many holidays for them that we're writing about 2 days a week now if we're lucky. And their electricity over there, their heat runs with electricity. And they're with electricity half the time. But yet, on New Year's Eve, our fearless leader put on a $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. I don't know how much tuxes are. And his wife put on a dress that probably was made of silver. And they went out and partied. Did they care about the homeless? Did they care about the other things? And something else that really reached out and bit me. Ian Bell, Jeffrey, Stephanie Stroud, Beth Shaw, good to see you all here. David, Michael James. Has anybody ever reached out and said, hey, we're going to help you? But I watched a video the other day where the hat, he took this lady and this lady painted a portrait of Christ right there, right there. And they bid on it. And whatever they got for this painting, half of it was going to go to a children's hospital where the kids are. I don't remember which one. And the other half was going to go to a police force in, I'm assuming, Florida, because that's where our man is from. And it went for $2.75 million. My point is, why did $1.375 million go to a children's hospital? And people said, boy, you're really an asshole tonight. No, I don't understand why it went there. So we can make other people there that these children will never get anything extra money. Because my thing is, if our president has the heart that he says he has, why is these kids not being healed now? If there's 50,000 of these all across the United States, why wasn't these kids healed before Christmas? Why is any child sick? Why is any child in a wheelchair? Why is any child fighting cancer if it's all about the kids? See, it's easy to say it's all about the kids. But when it comes down to it, does he even care? Yes, from what we're told, they save thousands upon thousands upon thousands. And I did hear, I don't remember the date, but coming up very soon, it will be announced the real reason why Russia was in the Ukraine. And we all know it. But see, then they want to paint the picture that the Ukraine is just nothing but bad. Well, that would be like saying the United States is nothing but bad because we had people like Sleepy, we had people like Dopey, we had people like Big Mike, we had people like Big Mike's husband, we had people like Bush Beans, we had people like the secretary under the desk. We had so many bad people that was doing the same thing to the children here in our country. Now, the one good thing, and some people get a little bit frustrated, I know, we've been all looking forward to this 10 days of darkness. I know I have, just to get away from the rat race. I disagree. Why You Mad says Doge checks was just a fantasy. I disagree. I believe we're going to get them. Can you base your fact, sir or ma'am, whichever you are? Why you mad? F9Y. Why do you think they're a fantasy? I mean, at some point, everybody's going to give up, or it's actually going to happen. Correct. Correct, Janet. Correct. Ian Bell, the movie is not for us, it's for the sleepers. The reason we're having so much trouble going through what we're going through is because we know things and we're waiting for the right things to happen. But what good is it going to do if the right things happen and no one knows? 5 billion people in the United States, right? Something like that. I don't know. Let's just pretend there's 5 billion. Half have their eyes open, half don't. What is going to happen to the half when everything plays out? When they get a number, an 800 number to call, please call this number about money you have in an account, or however they're going to word it. They're not going to believe it. Before we can get that money, they're going to have to be forced to watch some things that's going to explain it. I've been trying video-wise for almost 7 years to show people. I've been doing this for almost 20 years to show people. And finally, the other day, my daughter-in-law had some people that she worked with, 2 ladies and some kids come over. And we got talking about the special beds. And I thought, wow, someone I can talk about, I can tell them about. And I told them, and they looked it up and they went crazy. They went bananas. So much so that my son and my daughter-in-law even got involved with it. Never once have they talked to me about anything like that, my son and daughter-in-law. Isn't it amazing how someone, just because, oh, well, I want them to be my friend because I work with them, they'll believe someone like that. But someone who lets them live in their house, his house, gives them room and board, shelter, and takes care of them, they won't believe. You know why? Because Michael James, Carol Johnson, Stephanie, August came and went, but there's a new one coming. I don't understand the August. There's many months come. There's 4th of July's came and went. Easter's came and went. So what? What?
Christmas is coming and went, but there's another one coming very soon.
Yeah. Something's going to happen in 4 days, 5 days. In 5 days, something's going to happen. Christmas is going to be celebrated. And get ready, guys, because when they do it next year, that could be the day we celebrate Christmas. Rudy knows. Is that Rudy, the football player from Notre Dame? What do you mean you don't know anything, John? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's rotting away. As a matter of fact, I don't think we've seen the real hat and maybe this whole term. He might have been the one that actually got inaugurated in almost a year ago, but as far as that, correct. Janet says, Ralph, we tried to tell our family what is going on in the world, and they believe the tell lies. And that's the whole thing, because see, our family, guys, the people that we're trying to reach out to help, and the only way we're going to help them is if they see this.
What was these people saying the same? Why weren't they saying the same thing 5 years ago?
Who?
The ones that's negativity right now.
I don't know. But no, I agree with you. You know, we've tried to talk to them and tried to talk to them. They won't listen. I get to where I don't even like to go to family get-togethers now because I went to Thanksgiving Day. And I walked in and my niece, my goddaughter, I love her with all my heart. She looked at me and said, Uncle Ralph, when are we going to get the money? See, this is the bad part, guys. Uncle Ralph, when are we going to get the money? Because, see, all that she knows about, that she's willing to listen about, is me and Ron and her dad has went out and bought humongous amounts of foreign currency. So, see, she knows nothing about that. She's probably going to be losing her job. She knows nothing about her husband is probably going to be losing his job because one of them is a dental hygienist. Now, I can see when you get on these beds and everything is fixed, I can see dental hygienists, they clean teeth. I can see them sticking around. But what kind of attitude is her husband going to take? Because most principals in schools, to me, they're little puppets. They think they're God. I can tell that 4-year-old. You know, now kids are starting school at 3 years old. Yeah. Our principal that I'm talking about, he majored in history. History? What's that say? History? Are you kidding me? My ex-wife's major was history. They haven't a clue what history is. The kids, if the kids would listen, hey, you might get a vacation here soon. God, I dread it because that means they'll be home longer. I'm getting excited. They're going back to school in a couple of days. But Ron just asked me a question. With the negativities out there, why is it out there now? Day number 2 of a brand new beginning year. Don't we owe it to give it to at least a time frame that they've given us? And every one of you is, when I just said that, every one of you is correct, Tony. I don't either. Every one of you is out there. When I said, don't we owe it? How many times do we have to give them to that? But I want to say one thing here before I move on. The one thing I want to say is, remember, yes, John, remember, where is the positivity? That's what we need to bring in. Stay positive. And that's why I got so aggravated when I seen that post today. And that's why I came on and wanted to do part of the show tonight about it. Because, guys, we can all be negative. But tell me, Tony, tell me, Robert, tell me, Jeffrey, Janet. Who else we got here? Bill. I can't even. Pasquale. We're just going to call you Pasquale. Don't you feel better when you're positive? Every day I told you I talk to God and I talk about things, and when I do, I feel so much better when I get done than I do before. Maybe we all need to learn to do that. You don't have to do it a long time. I'm not a big believer in the church. I mean, I'll go over to people that I know just went to church on Sunday, and I'll go over to their house, and I said, we didn't see you in church today. I don't know. You're not going to. But it doesn't mean that I don't believe in God and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior any more than you do. And then all of a sudden, the talk. Well, did you say what so-and-so was wearing in church thing? How could she come out in something like that? How could they let their little girl wear such a short dress? They didn't go to church to listen and learn about God and what's going on. They went to church so they could come out and gripe and complain and talk about everybody. And then when I think about a certain faith, and guys, I feel sorry for this. Because, see, growing up, I was an avid sports person. Anything I would play on Saturday and Sunday. I didn't care. If I never got to eat lunch, if I never got to eat dinner, if I could play sports all day long. But it got to the thing on Saturday, my friends couldn't play because they had to go to something called catechism. What? Catechism. And I got to where I didn't like Catholic faith because they was taking my friends and not letting them play ball with me. And then at 10 years old, I get thrown in a hospital. Double pneumonia, worst case they said they'd ever seen in Kankakee County. I get put in a hospital. And I'm laying in there, and Ron and my brother Russ, they bring me a little transistor radio. It's a Catholic hospital, St. Mary's. They bring me a little transistor radio because on Saturday, the University of Illinois Fighting Illini were playing football. Got to about noon game time. I take my little transistor and I put my earphone in, and I'm laying there and I'm listening to the game. And all of a sudden, this big, ugly nun comes in and says, "What are you doing?" I didn't hear her because I had the earpiece in. And all of a sudden, Illinois scored. I remember going, "Yeah!" And she scared her. I scared her. She jumped back and said, "What are you doing?" "What do you got in your ear?" I took it out and said, "Excuse me? What do you got in your ear?" I said, "My earpiece so I can listen to the football game." "What game you listen to? Notre Dame?" I said, "Oh, no. I don't like Notre Dame. I'm an Illinois fan." "Oh, no. This is a Catholic hospital. If you're going to listen to a game, you got to listen to Illinois." And they took my radio. They took my radio and took it to the nurse's station, and they listened to the Notre Dame game. To this day, I've never once ever for one play rooted for the University of Notre Dame. And when they didn't make the playoffs this year, I was one happy person. They had no right to take my radio. But see, the people, and there's a lot of great Catholics. There's a lot of amazing Catholics, and I feel sorry for them. But I have a niece that got married, raised the Methodist faith, got married, husband, Catholic, got to switch, got to go through all these classes, got a nephew, raised the Methodist faith, got married a Catholic. Oh, they want to do the vows, so he's got to go and he's got to become Catholic. Got another niece, same way. Why? You was raised for 20 some years in one religion, the Methodist. Now all of a sudden you have to change to Catholic. And when they find out what happened under them tunnels for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, and all the children for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, I feel sorry for them, because it's going to be something you can't bounce back from. I think people need to find the best way they feel comfortable with to love God and Jesus Christ. And I'm not doing a religious show here tonight. I'm just stating facts of how I feel. But I'll never root for Notre Dame. So little Jimmy, you put up some nice pictures, the ones flying away, going to be with your mom. But be careful what you dream for. Dream that your mommy's going to be back here with you. Don't dream that you're going up there. I was talking to Grandma about Patriot 11 the other day, and we were talking, and wow, this is pretty cool. I just did something, and for some reason, down here on the bottom, I can see myself doing the show twice. But anyway, I was talking to her, and he's doing great, and whenever he gets a chance, he watches the show, and he really still loves all of us. Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp, I was really hoping to get a Happy New Year. And by the way, for all of you who are on our Messenger and Telegram and that, I sent a nice little Happy New Year out where it explodes, and me and my grandkids all pop up to you guys wishing you a Happy New Year. Patriot Princess, our queen, and Patriot Hunter, you kids, I guess what hurts me so much about going into this year is all of you kids are getting a year older. And I at least want you to be kids when we finally meet. Patriot Bugs, Boogaloo, Boogery, and Boogaroo. The 4 Bs, our Patriot 4 Bs. Grandpa John, I see he's on right now, saying something about nasty creeps. I have no idea. Oh, the liberal judges are not releasing the files. Oh, they'll get them. They probably don't have to be released, John. They probably already have them. It's just a game. It's just something that they're playing. You're right, Papa G.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to go back and continue talking about the kids and that, and Patriot, little Leona and little Elan. Growing. Little Elan, I talked to her grandma the other day when I was sending out that Happy New Year. She really liked it. Her grandma's living in Florida now. And she come back and she said, Ralph, we miss you guys so much. And I told her, I said, why did you move? I said, why did you move? I says, You're a Bradley girl. You've been a Bradley girl your whole life. You're an Illinois girl. And I don't care if people want to talk about my state. The hat talks about it all the time, is what I told her. I don't care what people say. You can't judge a state because you have a few rear ends running it. But it's funny because states that were supposed to be so good, now all of a sudden it's coming out that they had, everybody's got dirty laundry in their basket. It's just that the hat doesn't like the fat man that's running in Illinois, and nobody in Illinois. You get outside of Chicago, and nobody in Illinois likes that man. Chicago needs to be its own state. We don't need them. We only need them for the Bears and the White Sox. Maybe the Blackhawks. I thought maybe the Bulls, but boy, they're just biting a big one right now. Patriot super gymnast who will be starting her volleyball very soon. I was able to finally get her Christmas present put together and give it to her, and she really liked it. It was a volleyball that had some very good sayings on it, and I got her a bag, and she just fell in love with the bag because she was wondering, how am I going to carry this stuff? But she wouldn't ask her mom and dad for one, so Papa got her one. Patriot 7, he had a very good year in baseball and a very good year in football, Super Bowl champs in his league, and now he's getting ready to start basketball, and it's just one thing after another. Patriot Small Hank still doing his karate, or as he calls it, martial arts. But whenever he fights me, I whoop his butt because his main problem is he doesn't concentrate. And in martial arts, karate, or whatever, you have to have 100% concentration, or you have to be a whole lot bigger. I'm a whole lot bigger. I kick his butt all the time. He hasn't beat me yet. One of these days, I'm going to let him kick me, and I'm going to go down like a shot, I'm just going to lay there like he hurt me just to build his confidence. But he likes it. The little monkey, she's decided she's going to play basketball, and you want a trip and a half. Oh, my goodness. Last year when she played basketball for the little bitty kids, the court's about a third the size as normal. She'd get tired of running up and down the court. She'd just lay down in the middle of the court. I swore one time we thought she took a nap. She just laid there. I'm not looking forward to that, but it is cute. It's just they're too young. And then little Kira, she's getting quite the mouth on her now. But it is what it is, and that concludes tonight's version of the kids. I know we were late getting to it and that, but I wanted to cover some points about positivity and negativity. And I've watched the chat tonight. There's a lot of positivity, but there's negativity, and that's fine. You have the right to your opinion. There we go. Janet saying a prayer. God, please, our prayers and heal the sick and the world. Amen. And, another reason that, I think I read it today. And if I read it right, I believe it's Myrna's daughter's birthday. And the picture that Myrna had up there, my goodness, she was a beautiful girl. But she left this world way too early. So for them, people that would not let these beds come to fruition, to let someone with such a beautiful face, a beautiful soul, and a beautiful heart leave us, I hope you rot in the double toothpick place. Myrna's went through a lot, and there's just certain people in everywhere that you just wish you could just reach in, put your hand down their throat, and just pull all the pain out. I was telling you about the little thing I made for Happy New Year. I was going through some old photos of mine, And I pulled out an old photo of my brother-in-law when he was in the Navy. Guys, that was 60 some years ago. He met my sister when I was 7 or 8 years old. So I don't really remember a lot about life that he wasn't involved in. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, we lost him to cancer. I promised him I was going to get him on the bed. The last thing he ever said to me, I'm not going to make it to the bed, but thank you. You not only tried with that, but you tried with them dandelion roots, and you tried with other things, but they wouldn't let me try the other things because they thought it was crazy. And I looked at her one day, and I looked at my family, and I said, he's trying. What would it hurt if I try? What's it going to do? Kill me? I mean, he had a sense of humor, even though he was dying. And it's the truth. When someone comes to me, Janet and Jeffrey, see who else we got, Ian, if someone come to you, Gary, and said, hey, I heard you're sick. If you try this, it might help you. It might save your life. Would you not try it? What do you got to lose? And I guess maybe a little bit of a mood I'm in like this too is because, see, these beds could save so many. And on the 30th of December of this past year, 2025, a girl named Sue Burr that was my sister-in-law when I was married. But even though we were divorced, I always considered her my sister-in-law. I've known Sue for over 60 years. She was 2 years behind me in school, and she used to wake me up when I would take my naps in study hall. One day she missed and she wasn't there to wake me up. And the next thing I knew is I was getting patted on the head with a ruler. Mr. Anderson, are you supposed to be in this study hall? Whoops. Nope, not no more. Then I had to go to the office and go through there. I didn't care. But anyway, we lost her just the other day. Why? Because they won't release the things. Why is children going through bad times? Because they won't release nothing. I'm never going to get negative and say they're not real. Because, see, what was posted? The insurance being raised on the senior citizens. It's comical because he'll come out and say, what I'm doing for the seniors, they shouldn't have to do this. And no, they shouldn't, but you don't do nothing. Do I believe we're going to get raises? Oh, yes, 100%. Do I believe that we're going to get Doge money? Yes, I do, 100%. Do I believe we're going to get 800 numbers? Yes, I do, 100%. Do I believe we're going to be living in a world of love, prosperity, and beautiful world? Yes, I do. Now, let me ask you this for the negative people. Do you believe it? No, you don't. Do you want it? I don't think so. Do you think it's going to happen? No, you don't. Now, which way would you rather live? In a positive thing, thinking everything's going to be better. I talked to my brother Russ a while back, and he said, I don't want to live in a world like this anymore. And I'm trying to explain to him, you're not going to be. But you got to wake up. You got to open your eyes. And you got to tell others to open their eyes. And if one person would tell one person every day to open their eyes and open their eyes for them, we could get this done. Do you really, for the people here that believe in God and Jesus Christ, do you really believe he wants us living in a world like this? I don't. Do you, Ann? You ain't missed nothing, Ann. It's not been one of my better shows. Good to see you, Tony. For you to in. But I mean, I don't know if the hand praying and the amens and the no's are for what I asked. Wouldn't you rather live in a world where you have positivity, where you are sure something's going to happen? You're praying something's going to happen. When you pray, let me ask you this, Janet and Jeffrey and Gary. When you pray, do you say, God, as I wake up, as I get ready to lay myself down to go to sleep tonight, I pray that I die in the middle of the night? Do you do that? Because I don't. If you got kids, do you pray for them to run in the middle of the street and be idiots? No. We want the best. So let's think the best. Forget the rest. Let's think the best. Let's keep our vibrations up. Sky Prince Carrie, whatever her name is, she says many people's not going to get on these beds. Bull crap. I would like to talk to that girl personally one time for 5 minutes and let her give me her opinion and then let me have my opinion to her. Because see, I don't take comfort into doing things. But when someone comes out and says, a lot of people aren't going to be able to get on these. Why? Well, because their vibrations are down. Well, you're the one bring them down. How many times have we seen, well, I won't be around for a while, guys? It must be a down under thing. Them Australian people, they're on more NDAs and more other crap than anybody I ever seen. And we're talking about making them part of the United States of America. But, speaking of part of the United States of America, I seen the other day where Dancing in the Dark, Bruce Springsteen has teamed with Robert De Niro. And they're moving to Canada because they can't stand the hat. I asked Ron, I said, where are they going to move? And I actually went on where they posted this. And I said, well, where are you going to move when Canada becomes a state of the United States of America? Because truthfully, guys, I 100% believe that they will. I believe you're going to have China, maybe India, the United States, and maybe one other. You're going to have maybe 4 regions. And they're all going to come from four different countries. You're going to have a king in each region. You'll have your presidents in every place. You're going to have governments that's going to be 10% of what they are now. Why do we want to spend money? I was talking to someone the other day and I said, you're a millionaire. What do you mean? I told them. They go, wow, I can retire. I said, no, you can't. Why not? If I'm going to have that kind of money, why would I want to work? I said, because it's going to be a law. They're going to make me work. Well, yeah, no, they're not going to make you work. Right, Lori? What is it? Lori Hobby? Right? They're not going to make you work. But if you don't work, you don't get the money. Let's see. You can go and work maybe 25 or 30 hours a week. And you can be rich. And I want to cover the rich in a minute here. But you can go work 20 to 25 hours, 30 hours a week, and you can be very wealthy. Have whatever you want. And the work isn't going to be like when me and Ron worked at the factory. Man, there were some days in there that you thought we was working down underneath because it was that hot. I remember once we had an open house, and I worked in the charge and cycle department where all the water's coming down to keep the battery cells as we're charging them and building the batteries and it's coming down. It's hot in there. It's like, it's nothing but fog. It's just, you had to get accustomed to it or not go in there. And then one day they decided to have an open house. You could bring in the people. I'd go home and, how was work today? And I said, it was okay, hot. And that's about as much as I would say, see, because I would talk about work when I was at work. When I walked from the parking lot through the gate that put me on the grounds of the plant, I would talk about work. I would da. Once I walked back out them gates, I shut up. My ex-wife used to get so mad. Well, you never tell me nothing. What do you want me to tell you? You asked me how work was. It was hot. It was miserable. I'd say something like that. Well, what do? You're not going to understand anyway, so why should I tell you? I don't like to talk about work when I'm not getting paid to talk about it. Why do it? But they allowed people to come in, and I remember my 2 kids come in, and I was working that day. Actually, it was on Saturday, and I worked weekends. And I met them at the door, and I'm taking them on the tour and that. They said, what department do you work in, Dad? And I took my son and my daughter. We go over to the department, took my ex-wife and some other people, I believe my mom and that. And when they walked into that main part, and it was so hot and so humid in that, they started to call, it was taking their breath away. You got the acid fumes. See, someone like us, I have no sense of smell because all of my membranes in my nose they was eaten up. But we got used to it. But when they went in there that night, when I came home from work, we're sitting at the dinner table, and my kids and my ex-wife, all three of them looked at me and says, how do you do it every day? Because it was my job. But see, jobs are not going to be like that when we go to this new world. Jobs are going to be fun. You're not going to have no foreman standing over you. If you don't do this, I'm going to fire you. You know what? I never had a foreman that if they looked at me and said, if you don't do it, I'll fire you. Then do it. Talk is cheap. You know, I would live by the thing when I was working. When I came to this place, I was looking for a job and I found one and I'm damn good at it. If you want to fire me over an ego trip you have, do it. But remember, I got one heck of a union backing me. So you better do it and do it right. So I do have a few things I want to go over, read briefly and that, but I do apologize for maybe getting a little bit over the top, but I'm trying to make a point tonight, guys, and I don't know if I did it or not, but I had fun. Ron had fun. He taking a nap over there. National debt, this is just in. The national debt reaches a new high of $38.5 trillion. Now, as I read that, the national debt reached a national high of $38.5 trillion. Couple questions. First of all, if we're doing so good on the tariffs, if we're bringing in so many millions, billions, and trillions of dollars on the tariffs, how did it go up? Not just go up at like $3 trillion in a year, because the bad people want to say that. Now, exactly, Janet, we are watching a scripted movie. They have to wake us up. But here, what I'm read here, just in, the national debt reaches new all-time high of $38.5 trillion. Janet, Bill, anybody here, give me an answer, yes or no, please. Everybody here. The fact that we just reached an all-time high of $38.5 trillion in national debt, does that bother you? And I'm going to be the first one to say no. And I'm going to give an explanation, but I want to see how many people will say yes or no. Happy New Year. Oh, my feet go to sleep all the time, John. Your big toe or your little toe? No, Bill Woods don't care. Not really, from Justin. The reason I'm asking this, guys, what does it matter? It doesn't. Because when we go to the big N and big G, it's all going to be wiped clean. All countries' debt is going to disappear. The bad people are putting all of this crap out there just to make it look like the hat is failing at what he's doing. He has laid out a plan to catch each and every one of them. And it would be like, hey, if you take two more steps, you're falling off this 250-foot drop cliff. And they don't believe you, and they're going to take it. And it's everything they're doing. The mainstream media news, you never hear them explain anything. You know, the hat gets shot. Charlie gets shot. Mainstream media news, nothing. But boy, you let Big Mike go out there and get caught taking a pee in the backyard. And it's like, wow, did you see Big Mike peeing in the backyard? They don't know how to report news. They're going down. My only complaint of all the things, even if us not getting this stuff, my main complaint is the hat has let it go this long. Because every thing he did before he got elected, every place he went, every rally he had, it was always about how bad they were. And they've got worse. But if you notice, if you keep your eyes, there's some people that in that profession that might be pretty good. They're leaving. Now, maybe they're leaving because they want to get out when they can. Howard Lutkus says, in 2026, the United States of America will be ascendant. We will see the launch of the greatest manufacturing boom in history, creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs across the nation. This massive growth begins with construction jobs, which roll into high-tech manufacturing positions across the industries and our nations. This new growth will employ millions of workers in great high-paying jobs. The era of non-productive jobs fueled by DEA bureaucracy and corporate performative politics is over. Those who want to work and build America will be rewarded. Great positions and opportunities will be plentiful. The time is now. Make America great again, to the amazing success of America and the American workers in 2026. Is silver, this was from the one lady on, I can't think of her name, Tressie Trek, maybe, I don't know. Is silver the shot heard round the world? Silver bullet? Is silver the kill shot? Maybe there are multiple kill shots, multiple shots heard around the world, multiple. The storm is upon us, multiple Mickey clock dates, multiple sky events, multiple kill switches. Then I have one last thing, and then I'm going to call it a night. I can't believe as many people stayed with me as you did. I'll admit it wasn't one of my shining moments, but I wanted to make a point. Yes, you can complain, but complain in the right areas. Everything I've complained about, I've tried to soothe it back in to get everybody's vibrations up. I tell you, if you really got something, Beth, Papa G, Lori, Janet, if you really got something you want to complain about, go into Messenger, go into Telegram, any place, and just write it all out. Say everything you want to say. Post it. You got it out of your system. Yeah. That's what you needed. You needed to get that negativity out of your system so you can float upwards in bringing your spirits and your feelings upward. And then after you do it, wait 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and boom, delete it all. You got it out of your system. You're going to feel better, and it really works. I did it tonight when I seen someone post negativity for us. Okay. This all I can handle here, some notes for you all. Ginger Notes 1/1/2026, the White Hats want to keep a calm environment. No global EAS/EBS. No 10 days of darkness. No 8 hours analog broadcast of confessions, trials, executions for the public. Disclosure truth will trickle out more naturally to all. Big N will not be unveiled as you were told. No shutting down all governments worldwide or people stepping down. Strawman accounts will not pay out millions to people because the economy would crumble. Dividends will occur. People will receive thousands. Debt will be released. RV foreign currency holders will become millionaires. No 800 numbers or web links, calls. And see, I'm not going to read the rest because some of it I believe in. I have thought for a long time, Janet, Bill, looks like you're the only ones on. No, here we go. Tony, anybody who's on. When we were told about the 10 Days of Darkness and they were going to play 3 8-hour videos a night, They were going to play videos of what happened to the children. Is there anybody here that can honestly say they wanted to watch that? How are you going to keep vibrations up if you see what they did to these children the way they did it? Now, they need to come up with a way that they can talk about some of these things and make it apparent to people what happened, but not show something like that. I cannot stand certain people, and I've made it public. I cannot stand them. I do not believe in the death penalty, but I said for these people, for what they did to the not just this country, but the world, I wouldn't mind being part of the injection rope or whatever myself. And I do not believe in the death penalty, but for these people, yes. But let's face it, can we build our spiritual where we need it to be? Can we keep our vibrations up if we're going to sit there and watch people get the 21 gun salute, but not in the air? Or, I think it was Clint Eastwood had a movie, Hang 'em High. Or the way Mr. Forrest Gump went out. It took 3 times with that certain thing stuck in his arm before, because he had so much of that stuff from the children in him that you just couldn't get enough of that stuff in him to make an effect. But they finally took him out. I don't want to see that. You know what I want to see? I want to hear some of the things that's happened. I'm going to mention a guy's name that I promised I'd never mentioned before on this show. But we used to have a guy watch our show. He was a big part of it. His name was Bobby. Not going to mention his last name. And one day he sent me, when we were really close, I used to consider him as close as my brothers. And he sent me a video. He said, Ralph, you got to watch it. When he sent it, when some of the people that left with him sent me stuff, I didn't question it. I watched it. And it was about children. I seen this. This was 2 years ago or 3 years ago that I seen this. I still to this day have shivers thinking about it. Once you go down a certain rabbit hole, you can't see. You do not want to see what they did to these children. To hear it in a respectful way, to know that the children have pretty much all of them been saved. They're getting better. They're asking for ice cream. But when another person from down under says, we're not prepared to get on these beds, so they may not let us on there. What do you mean? Tell me how these children could have been prepared, and they work for them. Some people talk to listen to them. They are so in love with themselves. They think they're the only ones that can do something. We're not like that here in this family. We're a family, and we come first. So when you say your prayers tonight, know that everything is going to be fine. Know that we're going to do it, and listen to what Janet has said several times over here. It's just a scripted movie, guys. We know about the movie, so it hits us harder because we're frustrated because it's not ending, but it's going to end. And remember, the one last thing before I go that I'm going to say, it only has to happen once. Good night. God bless. I'll see you Monday night. Maybe talk to you before. Got any questions? Feel free to ask. Love yous all. Good night from Patriot 5 and Patriot 6.